So this presentation is directed towards the inequality sign in mathematics. Inequality, an inequality in mathematics, a statement of an order, direction, relationship of greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between two numbers or two algebraic expressions. And here you have an example of the inequality sign. It's basically, you can look at it as the head of an arrow pointing. It always points to the lesser value. So the opening is called the greater than, and the point is called the less than. And if it is facing, here it is facing from left to right. Okay, here it is facing from right to left. And again, the opening is called greater than, and the point is called less than. Bear in mind, in mathematics, you can read from left to right, and you can also read from right to left. Commonly, some people call this the greater than sign and the less than sign. I refrain from using that because I would rather call it the inequality sign with a greater than part and a less than part. Because if you are reading from right to left, in that case, you will say greater than. Okay, so it is possible for that very same sign to be called two different names depending on the direction that you are reading, as we're going to see in a while. Again, here you have it. No matter in what direction the arrowhead is pointing, the opening is called greater than, the point is called less than. The opening is called greater than, the point is called less than. Here, the very same sign is reading from right to left. Opening is called greater than, point is called less than. If you're going from left to right, the point is called less than, the opening is called greater than. Okay, so it depends on the direction that you are reading, and it depends on what you meet first. So here, if you are reading from left to right, you meet the opening, you say greater than. If you are reading from right to left, you see the point, you say less than. So the very same sign, depending on the direction that you are reading, you can either say greater than or you can say less than. Again, you can either say less than or you can say greater than. Again, you can say greater than or you can say less than. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So you can start to call it the inequality sign with a greater than part, the opening is called greater than, and the point is called less than. A rule that you can maintain is always try to begin reading, okay, from the letter X. Instead of saying X, you can also say all the numbers that are. Okay, when you start with the X and you meet the opening, you must say greater than. When you start with the X and you read the point, you should and must say less than. So you can just try to recall this very simple rule. And here we're going to apply it with some examples. It all depends on where the X is. So X is greater than. If the X is on that side of the inequality sign, you say X is greater than. You can also see all the numbers that are greater than. So you can see this arrowhead is pointing towards the right, okay? And if you are reading from right to left, X is greater than, you will say greater than, all the numbers that are greater than. But if the X is on the right side and you are reading from right to left, you will say X is less than. So that very same sign, either you say greater than or you say less than. It all depends on where the X is, okay? So just bear that in mind. Again, it all depends on where the X is. This very same sign is pointing from right to left. But if you start reading from the left, you're going to say less than because that's where the point is. X is less than, or all the numbers that are less than. Okay, if you are reading from left to right, you will say less than. For that very same symbol pointing in the same direction from right to left, if you start from the right, you meet the opening, you will say X is greater than, all the numbers that are greater than. So refrain from calling this less than sign or greater than sign. You can call it the inequality sign with a less than part and a greater than part. Again, just a reminder, always try to start reading from the letter X. You can also start by saying all the numbers that are instead of saying X. Here, the inequality sign, again, it is pointing from left to right. Always try to start reading from the letter X. You can also start by saying all the numbers that are, okay? So for example, you may see this and you may say X is greater than 5. all the numbers that are greater than 5. X is greater than 5, example 5.3, 6, 7.58, all the numbers that are greater than 5 because you start with the X, okay? Here, this example, you start with the X. So even though the X is on the right side, you start with it. X is less than 8, okay? Because when you start reading from the left, you make the point, you say less than, X is less than 8. All the numbers that are less than 8, for example, 7.9, 6, 1, and negative 8, etc. Again, you start reading from the X. X is greater than 10, and X is less than 18. The opening, you say greater than, the point, you say less than. All the numbers that are between 10 and 18, okay? Because you can say all the numbers that are instead of saying the letter X. Here again, you have another example. You start reading from the X, and when you go towards the left, you see the opening. So you say greater than, X is greater than, and you see the equal sign, X is greater than or equal to 8. All the numbers that are 8 and above, okay? Numbers like 8, 9, 10, etc. Again, always remember by start reading from the letter X, and you can say all the numbers that are, okay? Here you have an example. X is greater than or equal to 12. All the numbers that are greater than or equal to 12. 12 included, numbers like 12.3, 67, etc. Again, you start reading from the letter X in this one. X is greater than or equal to 15, negative 15. X is less than or equal to 21. So all the numbers that are between negative 15 and 21, inclusive of negative 15 and 21 because of the equal sign. So you have negative 15, negative 12, 0, 19, and 21, etc. Okay, here, this is diagonally pointed, but you start reading from the X without any problem. X is greater than or equal to 2. All the numbers that are greater than or equal to 2, numbers like 2 itself, 3, 4, 5.5, and etc. Okay, so that's the rule. It's an inequality sign with a greater than part, a less than part. Always try to start reading from the letter X, and you can replace the letter X by saying all the numbers that are.